Have you ever stayed in a job that was slowly draining you, not because you want to, but because your responsibilities wouldn't let you leave? Today's guest did exactly that. She was burned out, emotionally exhausted, and felt trapped by financial commitments. But one decision changed the course of her life. If you ever felt stuck, this conversation is for you.
Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi.
Welcome to another episode of Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where we help people move from burnout to breakthrough by sharing real stories of courage, resilience, leadership, and transformation. Our guest on today's episode is Nkem Ike. She has been a nurse for over a decade. She is a dedicated critical medical, surgical, oncology, intensive care, and mental health nurse. She is a wife and a mother of four. She has experienced burnout and she has decided to take charge by going back to school to become a nurse practitioner. Welcome, Nkem, to the show.
Wow, thank you for having me. And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. And I'm really glad I'm here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you here. I know it took a minute before you came, but you're finally here. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to.
All right, so let's dive deep. So, introduce yourself and tell us about your nursing journey and what inspired you to pursue nursing.
Yes, first of all, I'm Nkem Ike, popularly known as Miss Ike at various work areas. I've been a nurse for over decades, and choosing the career is out of compassion from how I grew up. Most of my family members are healthcare professionals, so I
Mm,
grew up seeing them taking charge in helping people in a very admiring and compassionate way. So even though I first did my degree in management, where I wanted to change how leaders work, but also inside me was that burning desire to care for people. So that was what made me to go back to school to become a nurse. I started as a, but I never worked with it. After getting the education, I said, you know what? I need to get deeper and learn this nursing because that's where my desire is. So that's how I became a nurse in this state.
that's good. That's amazing. So you studied management initially. Actually, nursing is your second career, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my second degree.
That's
Yes.
good. So, as a wife, a mother of four, and a healthcare professionals, I just want to ask you, what were some of the challenges you faced balancing your personal and professional responsibilities?
Well, working, nursing demands 12-hour shift.
Hmm.
And as a mother, the greatest challenge is planning your life well to both have the role as a mother, as a wife, and also be an effective staff at work.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of challenging moments, but I felt guilty sometimes when I'm exhausted coming back from work and I don't have that energy to become a mom to my children or to become a wife to my husband. So I had to find that balance,
Hmm.
to be effective in both areas. So I realized I was constantly giving without allowing myself time to recover. So I had to take a pause and find the boundary between doing work, family, and also family life.
Wow. So, when did you first realize you were experiencing burnout? Because I know when we had a conversation, you told me, oh my goodness, I've experienced burnout several times that you cannot
Oh,
even count. But what actually, what So when exactly did you first realize you were experiencing burnout? Because we know it's very subtle.
Burnout is something that doesn't, that it is not something that happens suddenly. It creeps in gradually, and every day you accumulate stress and you're not taking time to, reflect on your body, what's going on. So by the time I realized it, it's already getting too late. So I remember one day I started feeling exhausted, even after taking so much rest.
Mm,
I feel like I'm still tired. Um, I feel emotionally detached, exhausted,
mm.
and little things begin to irritate me. Small things will be overwhelming. And also the passion to even go to work was so overwhelming. I started
Wow.
feeling anxiety every morning. I want to go to work. I said, hold on, I'm experiencing burnout here. And it got to a point one day I just said, let me go to work. And I just broke down crying. I'm like,
Wow. Wow.
okay, something has to be done. I have to take charge here now.
So let me
So,
ask you, right? I know it
mhm.
probably was difficult for you, but what made it that difficult to leave the work environment, even though you knew it was affecting your well-being? Because I know it takes us a long time before we make a decision to even change to another department if the department that we're in is stressing us out. So what made it difficult for you to leave?
So, a lot of time it comes down to responsibility and fear. I had a
Mm,
family depending on me financially. Um, Healthcare had become a huge part of my life and identity. So I kept telling myself I just needed to push through because that's what nurses do. And the part of my culture, we don't give up easily. We believe in working hard, day in, day night, no
yeah.
rest. People jump from one job to another, feeling that that's how to become a super nurse, superhero. You know, at a time, walking away wasn't that easy. I feel some people feel, oh, I don't want to move from this department I am.
Mhm.
I need to secure my job, my position, even though it's giving me a lot of burnout. So sometimes it's about fear of losing where you've been to
Mhm.
creating another new environment that you don't have a control of. Sometimes we are being so comfortable in a place, even though we are totally worn out from that place. It's just actually the fear of moving out and
Mhm.
going to explore a new environment. But there's one thing I'll tell people, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You can never tell. You just have to keep moving on positively.
You just mentioned fear several times. You mentioned fear several times. So how did you overcome the fears?
So, one thing is, I had a family that was my backbone. They encouraged me, they talked to me. And one thing again, I'll also tell people always have a mentor you talk to.
Wow, yeah,
You
that's
have to
powerful.
have that mentor that will, guide you, that will tell you the truth, that will even tell you give you a different information that you are not aware of. So I had to rely on my family so much, to help me out with my fears. They know me when I'm vulnerable. They were there for me. My husband was there for me 100%. My children was there for me. They try to help me out in whatever I need, So, and my mentor also helped me so much to teach me this is the reality of life. This is what you're going to meet. This is that. So, having a mentor and having a family that so much loved me was a
Was
greater
enough.
part of me overcoming the fear.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you just talked about a defining moment when you got to work and you just busted out crying because of the stress was too much for you. Do you have another defining moment, or was it just that made you like, you know what, enough is enough?
You know, One day I got to work and nothing seems to be moving. I was so exhausted and I looked at myself. I said, is this what I really want to see myself in the next few years? And I said, no, that's not healthy. It wasn't a positive outcome for me. So I made that decision. And I'm somebody that likes upgrading myself. I'm always on the know. And I said, at this point, I'm not getting anything anymore from where I am.
Wow.
I need to make that decision to move to somewhere else where I can learn something different. So that made me to say, okay, no, I'm done with this section. I
I'm going
need
to
to
another section.
go into another section to see what they can offer.
No,
I
no
know they
wonder you
say
have all this
variety,
experience, right?
the variety is the spice of life.
Yes, yes,
So when you see yourself in a different new environment, it brings a different new vibes. You see yourself loving what you love
you're doing.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I guess that's why you've been an oncology nurse, your critical care nurse, you med surg nurse, and all that specialty, mental
Name
health
it.
nurse too. That's amazing.
Yes.
So you decided to return to school to become a nurse practitioner. So what really inspired you to make that decision? And how I just want to also know how it has changed your outlook on your future.
So returning to school to become a nurse practitioner was a way of reclaiming control over my future.
Wow, wow.
I wanted more opportunities, the ability to serve patients in a different capacity.
Mm.
And I remember when I was going into this nurse practitioner thing, one of my burning desires was to take back what I've learned back home, because I realized that back home, a lot of things would have been prevented if there are enough people to teach people what to do. Unfortunately, healthcare from where I come from is not at the best, but there are little things that we can teach people to save lives. Things like CPR, very important. Things like education on how to manage diabetes. A lot of simple things that doesn't require so much, but we can impact our society by giving back to them,
Yes.
teaching. Also, where we are right now, there are a lot of people that need that help. There are a lot of people coming up after us that we need to teach on how to balance life and work.
That's right.
So that things can, be moving on smoothly. So becoming a nurse practitioner represented growth for me, not just professionally, but personally, it was a moment of growth for me.
So on that note, looking back, right, what would you tell the version of yourself who felt trapped by burnout?
I would tell myself, I'm proud of myself and I've overcome fear. I've really accomplished what I felt I couldn't do. So I worried about balance of life, but now I really navigated from just, having a balance of life, but also accomplishing a lot. So, the self-actualization, the Maslow's hierarchy of life.
Mhm.
I felt that I've gone to that point of not just achieving my physiological needs to attending my self-actualization goal.
Wow.
So that's where I am now. So looking back to where I started to where I am now, I would say I'm really proud of myself with the decision I've made.
That's amazing. So, what advice? I know when we talked, when we had a conversation before we came to the show, I know you said financial commitments kind of affected you making a decision to change or remove yourself from the environment that was burning you out. So what advice will you give to healthcare professionals who know they need to change but feel financially, emotionally stuck?
Okay, I would tell them that feeling stuck does not mean you have no option.
Mm,
Start by creating a plan, even if the step feels small. Research for opportunities. You might not dive into going into nurse practitioner, start from acquiring certificates. It gives you a hedge above others. You know, explore further education if you can. Talk to mentors. Be honest about what your mind and body is telling you. Do not do something because you saw a colleague do it. Know what your family dynamics are.
That's right.
And have a plan for it. Don't do what you know inside you that you cannot carry. And let your vision carry your goals to accomplish your mission.
Wow.
So
yeah,
it's always good to know your circumstances surrounding you and what you can handle. But first of all, start small. Every step leads to you to their journey. So make plans before you forge into any situation.
Yeah, look before you leap.
Yes.
So
don't go and leap and fly.
Yeah, look before you leap. So what does taking charge of your life mean to you today?
Taking charge means making decisions that align with my values instead of simply reacting to circumstances.
That's good.
It means setting boundaries for me, protecting my mental health. A lot of people have a lot of mental issues these days because they don't know when to stop, take deep breath, and have a mental break.
Yes.
Mental health is reality. And also understanding that I deserve fulfillment both personally and professionally. And also it means that I'm allowed to choose a life that feels sustainable, peaceful, and meaningful. So that's what taking charge is for me.
Wow.
Making that decision to align with my values. Yes.
That's good. That's good. That's amazing. So what lessons have you learned from all this experience that you've had? And what advice will you give to your younger self?
So what I've learned in all these things is there's never an excuse for you to remain in a burnout situation. You always have the choice to step out from any situation that draws you back physically, emotionally, and mentally. You have the willpower to know when to say no. You have the willpower to know, oh, I need to treat my body well, because if you don't maintain yourself, you will definitely break down. I used to know when I think that being a superhero is the ultimate, but working in an exhaustion is not a prize. We have to work with wisdom. So know when to tell yourself no and know when to relax. To relax is not a crime. It actually rejuvenates who you are inside and outside.
That's good. That's good. That's really deep though. Wow.
Yes.
So what advice, I know I asked you, what advice will you give to your younger self, right? The next question I'm going to ask you is, what advice will you give to a nurse or healthcare professional watching right now?
Yes, the biggest advice I will give to fellow nurses is that burnout is not acceptable. Learn to work with a team. Speak out when you are burnt out and ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Learn to have a peaceful environment, because when you are not at peace with your coworkers, when you are burning out, help does not come easily. From the bottom of my heart, I've experienced it. Work as a team, speak out when you're burnt out, and ask for help. It doesn't mean weakness. It means that you are wise.
Wow. So, Nkem, you just said working as a team with your co-workers. Yes, some people really want to work as a team with their co-workers, but because of some cliquish behaviors that we find at work, some co-workers act like they're more superior or feel like they're more important, and then the other person that doesn't look like them, they put that person in a situation that the person will, just to get their sanity, decide to be in their space. In that instance, what do you advise the person that is experiencing burnout? What do you advise them to do?
So, from my own experience, I'm somebody that likes being friendly with everybody. Not that that does not mean I have to be in a clique with somebody, but I've always put myself in a situation whereby you cannot say, oh, I'm your bestie or this person is my bestie. I always have an open mind to everybody. One thing, even though we come from different cultures, different backgrounds, always have an open mind to embrace people. Even when people don't want you, your approach, your attitude, everybody's watching you. It matters a lot. You might not be able to express yourself the way you want, but the way you interact and react to people, both to people and to the patients, people are seeing you. And when they see that you work diligently, that's what I tell people, work diligently wherever you find yourself, because that will speak for you louder than you voicing it. And when people will testify, oh, he really does his work well. He's diligent. Even when you come to them with fear, they will be willing to help you out. And if you're someone that's always isolating yourself, you find it difficult to ask for help or interact with people. You don't need to be in a situation whereby you laugh with them and gist with them, no. But the courtesy matters, your approach to people matters, and that's what opens the door for you. So your approach to people matters a lot, regardless of your culture, regardless of your background.
Yeah. Because I know some people started isolating themselves because of the attitude of the people in their work environment. They felt that the safest thing for them to do is to not really isolate, but not be on their face or have anything to do with those co-workers, because interacting with them drains them. So, but I understand what you just said, still do your thing and then find a way to feel good about yourself and not let anybody drain you. That's what I understand from what you
Exactly.
said. Yeah.
Come to a workplace, say good morning to people, greet them with smiles. It goes a long way. What else I want to say is, in a work environment, make sure you know what you know. I need you to challenge me with what you have in your brain, not necessarily clicking or being friends. Challenge me with what you know. And that's what I look at for, not necessarily felicitating with people. You gain a lot of respect when you show what you can do. Sometimes they don't want to interact with you, but because you know what they don't know, they don't have any other option but to come to you. And that creates an avenue for you to establish that relationship with them. So wherever you find yourself, make sure you stamp your feet to learn and be what's supposed to know and become an expert in it. Sometimes that creates an avenue where people will see you as a solution, not as an option.
Wow, that's powerful. So for
Yes.
anyone that feels like there are cliques around them, be confident in yourself.
Exactly.
Know what you know, like Nkem said. Wow.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Thank you.
burnout does not mean weakness, like you said. Financial pressure can delay change, right? Growth requires courage.
Yes,
Education can
definitely.
become a pathway to freedom. That's what I get from all this. And you do not have to,
Definitely.
you do not have to stay stuck. So it's time for our rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I am, of course.
All right. So coffee, tea, or smoothie?
Definitely, I'll go with smoothie. It tastes good,
What kind
sweet,
of
and
smoothie do
nice.
you like?
Oh, well, I like the fruit smoothies.
Smoothie, smoothie.
There's something that will, give me some nutrients in the body is always beneficial. Of course, as nurses, we say eat right, right?
I know.
So smoothie is right for me.
Okay, good. Another question I have is, are you a morning or night owl?
Um, Sometimes I'm both.
All right. So favorite,
Sometimes I'm
you know
bored, but
what? Going
I would
going to
favor.
school will make you a night owl, even if you're not, right?
Yes. I also in my career, I worked as a night nurse and also a day
Oh,
shift
okay,
nurse.
okay,
So
okay.
I've experienced both sides. So I know I can both sides, but I prefer day shift because I love to go home and have a sleep, which is more beneficial health wise.
That's
So
good.
I love being day. Yeah.
All right. So favorite Bible verse.
Oh, I love Philippians 4:13, which
Mm.
says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
Wow.
I'm a
Wow.
strong believer in Christ, and without God, I don't know where I would have been today. So I owe it to God for giving me that grace,
Mm-hmm.
to sustain me up until this time. So I'm really, really grateful. It's sometimes when I look back what I've really achieved, and I'll be like, wow, is that me? But with prayer and with faith in God, I know that I can accomplish much.
Wow, that's good. So your favorite self-care activity?
Well, one of the things I love is dancing. In my house,
Ah,
everybody knows. Everybody knows that when I'm bored, when the house is too quiet, and when I want to engage my family, my children, I put on that music and I'm pulling everybody. They will say, oh, mom, it's time to dance now. Oh, you don't want to dance? Why not? It's a way of me relaxing, having fun with my family. I love it.
all right. So one word that describes you today.
I am a strong and compassionate woman today.
Wow. Strong and compassionate. You gave me two words, but that's okay.
Yes.
All right,
I'm
Nkem.
strong,
So
but at the same time, I'm compassionate.
that's
Yes.
good. So it's a take charge moment. Are you ready?
Yes.
So you're gonna complete this. I took charge when.
Yeah, I took charge of my life when I decided that surviving in a state of exhaustion was no longer enough. And finally, I choose to prioritize my well-being and create a healthier future.
Burnout taught me, finish the sentence.
All right, Burnout taught me that to be wise is a gain. Burnout taught me that there is a time to say no,
Ah,
and there's a
wow.
time, yes.
All right, my
And it
future
taught
look.
me to do me as
Oh, I'll
well.
do you.
Yes.
My future looks.
My future looks bright and very, very bright indeed. I can't wait to, use my nurse practitioner experiences to help people, in a different level.
All right, the last one. The best decision I ever made was.
Wow, to get back to school. No, knowledge is very, you can never know what you will learn. I'm telling you, it's not just all about books. It taught me a lot about life.
Yeah.
Knowledge is powerful.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss
It's time
Nkem.
for
Financial reflection. So, what financial lesson did burnout teach you? What advice will you give someone who feels financially trapped? Thank you so much, Nkem, for sharing your journey. Burnout is not the end of your story. I'm telling you, burnout is not the end of your story. I encourage all listeners to take charge of their lives and take one courageous step towards a healthier future. If you've listened to this podcast today, I want you to subscribe, comment, like, share. Share it with anyone that you think will benefit from it. If you're stuck, know there's light at the end of the tunnel. So pause, heal, reset, and rise and take charge of your life. Thank you so much, and bye.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.